Hi, I'm Mac McCarthy, and I help people with their breakups. And today we have some real breakup stories. These were sent in yesterday, or the day before yesterday, one of them. And I just titled the post today, I Hate My Ex, because someone's battling with the idea of, how do I get through my breakup without hating them? I think it's the only way. And I've come across this before. First off, if you have a breakup story you want to share or you want to get my take on, please send it into writemac.com, WRITEMAC.com, and I could review your story on a live stream just like this. Been doing it for a long time. You can check out the channel. And get my take, objective, non-biased take. Rob, right on. Guardian at the gate to start off. I was thinking of you today when I said I got to be on at this time because this is the sweet spot for a lot of the people that come on the live stream. So anyhow, I got two long stories that I'll be honest, I haven't read all the way through, and that's usually the best way to do it. So there's no premeditated answers. It's kind of interesting for people to watch too. But getting into hate, some people battle hate because it's not a natural thing for them. And I just wonder what their interpretation is of hate. And there's that famous saying, there's a thin line between love and hate. And to have that deep of an emotion, that deep of a word, wow. So this is something that LinderTube just, I almost have to hate you to get over you. She replied, I could never hate you and never will. I was thinking. So LinderTube, yeah, good point. The opposite of love would be indifference, not hate. Because hate is basically a yin and yang, but to have that strong of emotion for someone, you have to still have feelings. You still have to have feelings for them. And I think that when you find yourself in a mode where you go, oh, I just need to hate them. I think it's more about, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe you can chime in on this. What you hate is what happened. What you hate is how you feel. What you hate is the breakup. So therefore you think to yourself, I hate you for making me hate my feelings, for making me hate where I'm at, for making me hate feeling lonely. And it's a really, really strong word. It's a really strong word. And I think that when it's used, somehow you think that it gives power. And I just looked up the definition. Feel intense or passionate dislike for someone. And what are you feeling when you break up? Intense, passionate dislike for that person? No, it's actually the opposite. It's actually a strong feeling of wanting and loving them and caring about them. I know when you go through a breakup, you hate what's going down. You hate their actions. You hate the way you feel. But you wish you could transfer that over and hate them because somehow you feel like if you could do that, it'll help you get over the breakup. Now, if you're doing that, you have to ask yourself, has this worked for you before? Has there been other situations where you've been disappointed, lonely, fired from work, rejected, and you chose hate as a way to get through it? I'm not sure that that's going to carry carry the day. I think where you want to get is what LinderTube just said on the live stream. Indifference. And you can't get there in a day. Indifference is not something that it's got to be cultivated. It's got to take some time. It's got to take some work. It's got to take you on a new path in your own life. And a lot of times, people don't want to go there because it takes work, it takes time, and that sucks. And you hate the idea that it's going to take work or time because a lot of times, not always, even if the relationship was bad at the end, it was comfortable because certain characteristics of your partner were predictable. And we like predictable. Think about this. What about movies these days? Marvel Comics is incredibly popular. I find the endings to these movies incredibly predictable. The heroes are never going to lose. They're going to have superpowers. They're going to overcome. Yet it's one of the most popular things going out there on the cinema, on movies. People like predictable. And when you get in a breakup, everything turns unpredictable, uncertainty. I can't believe you did this. And it sucks. It really does. It really does. When a girl is mad at you when she breaks up with you, your odds of them reaching out down the line is better if they're indifferent. They're already started to move on. People get comfortable with predictable. Subconsciously being unpredictable in some ways is attractive. Yep, that's true. That's true, Rob. Hence the guy that doesn't give a shit, the artist, the rock star. Women flock to them. Now, do you think that applies to women also? Because here's what's interesting. I've had clients tell me that as women that they've read on their end that not calling, having the guy chase you is what they encourage women to do. And a strong man will not chase. I think it's interesting. CD, good evening. Rob, good evening. LinderTube, good evening. I'm going to wait a little bit till we get a few more heads on here before I want to get into this, the stories. I think in some ways it applies to women. Hate. I don't think I've ever been in a situation where I said, I hate my ex. I was more or less wanting to get out of the mouse wheel in your head. That feeling of, I can't stop thinking about this. When is it going to change? That empty air in your heart, that feeling of, will I ever meet someone else like this? That part I didn't even say hate. I just thought to myself, when does this end? It's almost like a sickness comes over you, where you have this tape recording in your head over and over and over and over and over again. And it gets old. It gets really old. Yeah, they encourage that, but it really works since that's not an attraction point for women. It rarely works. Why do you think that, on the other end, women's dating coaches and whatnot are recommending that they make the man chase and that they play mysterious games? Is that to hold the relationship in their hand? I think it's interesting. Because I've had people come to me, and attractive, high-value women that are able to catpaw men around and play with them a little bit and have their way. And then when a guy does it to them, where he can, not be bothered, doesn't really need to talk, they're completely spun out. And they're going, well, what do I do? Because I've been told, I shouldn't be calling them. I shouldn't be showing interest. And I'm like, Where did you get that from? But they're used to guys chasing them. And so when they meet a guy that doesn't chase them, it's foreign to them. And here's the thing about all the things on YouTube, all the advice on the internet, it's not going to apply to everything. A lot of it's general information. A lot of it's information that would work in some cases, but human beings, there's different situations, so not everything, quote unquote, works. There's some basics. There's some basics about attraction and whatnot that you should learn. But a definite playbook for every woman and man, hell no. You're going to meet your match if you meet enough people. And that's, if you're in that pickup artist community, or you date a lot of women, or you date a lot of men. I've met women like that too. Nothing wrong with that. You're going to meet your match where you go, wait a minute, this person's different. I can't figure this out. LinderTube says, Mac, would you say that men used to chase women more, and now the standard is more that the guy is on a standby until he gets the obvious attention? Go ahead. Seems like guys can hardly pursue now. LinderTube, this is going to be a common question that I answer a lot, but what's up, Dark Knight? You're awesome too. It depends on your environment. It depends on your age group. It depends on where you're pursuing. I think people get lost in the idea that it applies to all men and women. So you need to learn the environment that you live in. You need to learn the environment that you live in and what would work in your environment. If you lived in a, I don't know how LA is now, because there's a lot of bad news about it. But if you lived in, let's just say, LA, where even San Francisco, parts of San Francisco, when I visited there, that are really into health and fitness. And there's, you know, these areas, right? There's trendy areas that have gyms and yoga studios, and the women walk around in yoga pants and things like that. The Marina District in San Francisco is like this, right? If you're going around saying, oh, you know, and you have a pizza and you know, a 6-pack, you know, 3 nights or 4 nights a week, you're out of shape, and you're complaining that the women have an attitude, you're out of touch. Because you're not even competing in that neighborhood. They don't have an attitude. You're just not adapting. And so I hear this a lot. And even in The Rational Male with Rollo Tomasi, he kind of talks about, you know, if you think you want to pursue a certain level of woman and you don't take care of yourself, you have to be up to par. Because there's a lot of these generalizations. Oh, women have an attitude. Oh, women are this. What's the environment or climate of the area that you're working to meet women, right? And a lot of times it's online. I get that, right? So it really depends on where you're at. It's just like if you go fishing, you're going to use different bait for different lakes. You're going to use different bait for different fish. It's the same thing for your approach with women. And I think for years, it was, if you're a pickup artist or you're a player, nightclubs and bars. There's a lot of woundeds in there. And drinking helps grease the tracks. Right? So that's one of those things that gets lost. Everyone gets into these, well, men and women are like this. What I would say is definitely brush up on your own skills, and the generalizations of men and women are like this. Focus on yourself and what you're doing, and really hone in on where you're meeting women and how that's going for you. Take notes. All right, we got 10 on deck. I'm going to do a quick review, and then I'm going to get into the stories, because 2 of them are really long, actually. We have, here we go, 15-minute mark. I'm going to say what's up to some people. Hate is often a misguided term. I agree. Depends on the guy. Guys that don't know any better on how this all works will overchase and might come off as a clingy with low market value. Most guys don't know to pursue properly and help their case. I'm okay. My former roommates poured water into my PC, so I emergency moved out in 5 hours, just finishing organizing. Cheers. Well, that's excellent. I'm glad you're okay. My former roommates. You never pursue, you flirt. This way you get her to come after you if she's interested. Otherwise, next, easy peasy. But yeah, hit the gym. It helps a lot. Alternative spirituality looks override game playing in my experience. Looks override game playing in my experience. Depends on the age and the environment. Where's the undiscovered lake with my healthy, hungry fish? What's up, Jen? Those types are all over SF. Tons of joggers in the Marina Park area. All right, folks, I got your stories. I'm going to unpack them. Or not your stories, but these stories. And I'll start with the one that involves the hate message. Both stories are quite long. We got 10 on deck. Yeah, 9 likes. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the donations. I appreciate it. And, wow, this one's long, too. This is going to be a good one. Let me get a timestamp here. 17-minute mark. Dear Mac, I want to thank you for your effort in making videos about LDRs. Makes me feel I'm not alone in this. I'm not sure what will happen after I wrote you this, but if it goes public, would you mind beep the sensitive information, including the country and age? Sure, no problem. I'm almost 4 months into no contact since my ex broke up with me last December. We were together for 1 to 4 years. I spoke about my breakup dozens of times. I cried until I became immune to it. Now I feel better. Now I felt better, but recently I didn't receive birthday wish from him. Somehow it makes me a bit sad, like I'm erased completely. So here I am feeling like day one. Not uncommon, actually very, very common. Doing this for a long time, as I have for years. People are very sensitive to not getting a happy birthday. So if you think that that's just you, I think there's something there deep down at the core of people and how much they regard their birthday as a special day. And myself, I think I didn't celebrate a lot of birthdays for years. So just recently, I just had my birthday coming up, and a friend was like, "Oh my God, you got to do something special for your 40th birthday. You got to do this. And to me, I was like, well, I don't want to make a big deal out of it. But to him, this is a really good friend of mine, it's a big deal. And so the idea that your ex doesn't reach out on your birthday, that's unique to a lot of individuals. You're going to get through that, but just don't think it is related to the fact that on your birthday, you're not doing something else that raises a lot of attention, and you might not be at a place in your life where you're feeling a lot of camaraderie or people around you appreciating you. But on the flip side, it's very, very common to be hurt when someone doesn't say happy birthday, even if they're your ex. I'm almost 4 months into no contact since my ex broke up with me last December 2020. We were together for 1 to 4 years. I spoke about my breakup dozens of times. I'm sorry. Here's how we met. I live in, she doesn't want to say where she lives. He is from, so let's just say, I live in Thailand and he lives in Germany and is finishing his PhD. We are 3 hours flight away and live in the same time zone. We're a 3-hour flight away. Wow, same time zone. Okay, that's good. We are both, okay, because the PhD is being done somewhere closer. We are both, I'm not going to say the age, but we'll just say late 20s. We matched online on September 29th during his first time in Thailand, and his family and friends, we didn't have a chance to meet in person. We ended up chatting every day for a month until he decided to fly to meet me in December. We chatted every day for the next 2 months, also called a few times. We talked so much about anything, never got bored. He said never felt something like this, and it's the craziest part. We've never even met. It is crazy. So we matched online September 2019. We didn't have a chance to meet in person. We ended up chatting every day for 1 month until he decided to fly to meet me in December. So you had 3 months of chatting online. We chatted every day for the next 2 months, also called a few times. You know what? This, in the modern day, can be done. One thing about it that I find is that a lot of times there's a lot of buildup to the meetup and the relationship. And then when you actually get into the relationship and you're in each other's energy and you're in each other's space, long distance relationships aren't ideal, and they're definitely not ideal to start. Right? So starting a relationship like this, it's great in the sense that you had a great connection. You talked every day for 2 months, but you still have a whole nother playing field to absorb in getting into a relationship where you're face to face. Now, I think that what happens in these situations is you think you know the person so well, but you know, being that you're online and you're meeting at maybe a set time, a lot of times too, if this is long distance, you meet at a set time, like 8 p.m. or something like that, and you talk a lot about things. And it's not necessarily bad, and it can work, but the odds are still against you, because when you're not able to overcome the long distance. So if this is going to carry on this way, it's not going to work out long term. You're in your late 20s. You're both travelers. You live in different countries. This can't continue this way unless you're in the 1 percentile. Okay. In December, he then arrived in Thailand. We spent 4 short, beautiful days. On our last night, he said he wants a relationship with me. I accepted. On January 2020, I flew to his city for a week, stayed at his place. He organized, took me to visiting amazing beaches and zoo, hang out with friends. In February, he flew to my place for 10 days. His brother and his friends joined us. We went on beautiful island trips together. Every goodbye at the airport till the next arrival are always heightened. In late March, I supposed to fly him, but was canceled due to the starting of the quarantine and border closure. Dun, dun, dun. COVID strikes again. With confidence, thinking that all this virus thing will disappear by summer. That's what a lot of people hoped. Had I known what I know now, I would have taken my flight that March. Well, hindsight's 2020. No one knew. It's an unfortunate situation that's broke up a lot of couples. So there's no blame here. It's timing and circumstances, and it's just unfortunate. We can't go back to the future, like Michael J. Fox. We never missed a day chatting, video calling a couple times each week. We talked a lot. In a way, never I feel neglected. I feel like he's just there next to me. Hence, I get used to have him in my mind day and night, even if we are apart. So for people who say LDR breakup is easy, it's not always. Oh, no, I'm not. Some of the most difficult breakups are LDRs. I think that getting through them compared to living with someone, the ability to get over that relationship is elevated by the fact that you didn't spend personal time with them in your room. It's different. I don't know how to describe it to people. It's different. If you live with someone compared to having a long distance relationship, you will hurt, you will miss them. But I would say in extreme cases where couples talk a lot online and basically don't have much of an outside life of that. I know that sounds harsh. But usually if that's your main source of love, compassion, emotion, and you don't have a lot of other things going on, it's going to hurt more. We never fight just cute arguments. We always tell each other where we go or what we do. I never forbid him, and so does he. Even if he went to bars with friends to party, I unlikely felt worried. I can be myself when I'm with him. We both sort of childish, silly, and like teasing each other. He makes me laugh, not because he jokes are funny, but because they are mostly nonsense and dumb. He could be a male version of me with more annoying version. So you got a lot in common. You have a big connection. You have good chemistry. And so we waited. Months passing by: March, April, May, June, July, August. At the end of our video call, sometimes I ask cute questions like, will you miss me until June, till July? He said, the longer I wait, the more I want to see you. And the first thing I will do when the border opens is flying to you. I stopped with the cute questions because he doesn't like it. Then in September, during our video call, he shared his feelings with me. My cute questions got him thinking and said, uncertain when his country will open. He feels sad when he goes out with his friends who have their girlfriends next to them. He wished I'm next to him. He didn't. This is when long distance takes a toll. He didn't say about breaking up. He didn't know what we should do and suggested we should think about what we want. I cried and I told him I don't need to think about it. I want us together, and he agreed. He said sorry that he made me cry. Everything was normal since. Yes, there were days where our daily conversation is less than usual, a time or two. The thought that we would break up one day crossed my mind. If this border situation persists, it's just a ticking bomb. I'll be honest, it is. And the uncertainty in a long-distance relationship where you guys are in your late 20s, you want intimacy. That's the elephant in the room. The fact that you've made it this long says a lot about your connection. I felt helpless. There's nothing I can do to see the person I love. I can only miss him from a distance. This is true. Oftentimes I could feel his loneliness and sadness of missing me, but can't hold me. But of us rarely mention about the border stuff, kind of avoiding this subject. I always try to be happy as I can when I see him live on my screen. One time I broke down in tears to my friend who is also in an LDR. I seek support and cried as I would be prepared for the day that we would separate. That day came. On 20th December, he was different, and the next day when we supposed to have a cooking video call, he sent this. My dear, I'm writing this long message because I don't have the courage and balls to tell you it on camera. I've had a stomach aches for several weeks now thinking about it, and the anniversary made me realize how sad I am to not be able to see you, hold you close to me. I don't think I can do this anymore. The virus does not look to be going away, and even looking forward to the first trip I will make once I can finally leave will likely be to my home country. I can't even think of a time where I'll get to see you, and this is eating me. I know we have made it this long, but I can't stand this situation anymore. It is not fair for you or me. You also deserve someone who will be close to you on a regular basis, and I can't provide that. I look back on what I said in December last year and made you a promise it would not be a long-distance relationship. I know it's not your fault whatsoever, and we just are the most unlucky couple in history. But really, I can't. I need affection and love that is even as awesome as you are throughout it all, you cannot give me, and are unlikely to give me for the most of the next year at least. Likewise, I cannot give you as much love as you deserve because I don't have the heart for it. And this situation makes me sick. I'm sorry I'm telling you this by text, but it's easier for me to write in words. I want to tell you I'm happy to talk about it on the phone later. Trust me, this is not an easy decision I am making, but it is the best and only decision we should make. Deep. And I'm sure that the fact that you got texted a lot of times upsets people, but this is how people communicate. And actually, a text message or one like this where it's thought out, and really he's saying that this is just about the distance and the situation in the country he's at, that he can't travel. But he's also saying, like, it's been too long. I want love and affection, and it's nothing that you've done wrong. And this is a simple situation where you go, well, I'm willing to fight through it. Can't you? He's not. I called him straight away crying. He said to me, maybe you notice I was being distant lately. Of course, I still want to talk to you. Maybe next year or in 1 year, if we both are still single, we might find our way back together. But I don't want to stay but I don't want you to stay single for me. Translation, I don't want to stay single for you. Promise you will meet new people. I'm sure it'll be easy for you because you're beautiful. And me, I don't know, but I don't do something stupid like going to a club and hook up with random guys. So that's what she's saying. I didn't beg, having read what he just wrote. I don't have the heart knowing the person I care so much feeling like this, and I just don't want to be any sad any longer. I said to him that you will always have a place in my heart. I told him it's okay. I can understand. I really want you to be happy. And if I have to let you go, I will. That's excellent. It's the only thing you can do is accept the situation. I didn't realize that he also cried because he tilted his head down a few times. And when he faced back at me, I see tears. He then asked me if this is a right or wrong decision. I said, I don't know. Part of me wants to say no, but I can't be selfish with him. I asked, should we tell each other if we date other people? He said he doesn't want to know, but he will tell me if I want to know. I would agree. I wouldn't want to know. I would say that your best bet is to stay in no contact, lick your wounds, and deal with it. If you want to be friends with him and talk to him, it sounds like he's open to that. He wants to date. He's in his late 20s. He's given it a year. He's been honest and upfront with his reasons. They're understandable. But this is the only thing you can do. I said, no, I can't stand seeing you with another girl. Well, if that's the case, then you need to cut off contact. He ended the call because he can't see me cry. I asked to call him later that night, and he suggested it's better in 2 days. But if I really want, that night is okay, and he will play games all day to distract himself. I didn't call him again. Instead, I sent this that night. If this is a dream, I wish I can wake up now. I'm sad knowing that tomorrow I won't have your good night kiss anymore or giving you a morning kiss. Thinking back last September when you said I want what I said I want you to is the start of the sweetest journey for me. I am grateful for every memories that we made together. I remember only good times with you. And this is not your fault. None of this is your fault. We had to part like this. It breaks my heart that I can't even hold you for one last time. But we will be fine, my dear. I respect your decision, and trust me, I care about your happiness. And if that means I have to let you go, I would. And maybe you are right. Maybe it's best that we stay away for a few days. But before that happens, I want to tell you that I'm going to miss you. I wish you happiness and only the best things in your life. And I can understand surely we can still be friends. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. Take good care. That's a great message. He replied, I wish things could have ended differently. I really hope you're happy. You deserve so much of it. Of course, I still want to be in contact with you, maybe not as close friends because I don't deal with this. But at least I can know that you are doing well and enjoying every day. And I never replied to him again, and it was too painful. Until Christmas, midnight, he sent me a Merry Christmas to me and my pet. I replied, Merry Christmas. 1 week after the breakup, he posted a Facebook story, which is weird because it's the first time he does that. Well, if you're going to go into no contact, don't include Facebook. He couldn't help but click it. I couldn't help but click it. It's a photo of him at the beach with a caption, credit to my little photographer. My guts told me that he is with a girl. This is why you can't look at Facebook, folks. The next morning I woke up, I was already blocked on Facebook. I believe he doesn't want me to see things that will hurt me, of course. So I went to his Instagram. He doesn't know I have Instagram. I saw he posted a photo of him with a girl next to a Christmas tree and a caption, best thing happened, and tagged her name. It hurts like betrayal. It's not betrayal. He was up front and forthright in the breakup, and this is why you don't dig around. I thought he cheated on me. I was so upset, crying for him just to find out about the picture. I tried to figure out if I was made a fool all this time. There's always a possibility in long-distance relationships that someone's messing around. You always have to give the benefit of the doubt. That's just part of the relationship. The idea that you're going to find out now isn't going to serve you. Judging from the photo that he put his arms at his back and not around her waist like normal couples would do, and the girl was leaning into him so much, the girl was added on Instagram and Facebook after the breakup. He also changed his Facebook and WhatsApp profile. It's completely possible that this was lined up already. It's not going to serve you to find out yes or no. 1 week after that, the Christmas tree girl photo disappeared on Instagram. Now I think he didn't cheat. Although the girl still remained on his friend list, a few days after, he posted a selfie with another new girl dining in a bar and tagged her name. Now I'm not sure he didn't cheat. If he has been dating the Christmas tree girl for a while, he wouldn't delete her picture and replace it with another girl. You just got to get off Facebook and Instagram, period. I know it's not good to watch his social media. That's an understatement. It's a horrible thing to do. It's you're hurting yourself. I just need to know if he cheats or not. Why? Why would you need to know if you guys are broken up already? This behavior change is unlikely in him. He never posted a photo of me, neither with his exes. I don't think it makes me jealous. Otherwise, he would have done it on Facebook without blocking me. I trust he didn't cheat on me. The way we broke up, I was unmatched by him on our dating apps. We kept it, but didn't use. The distance will change if we use. He maybe swiped right away and met the Christmas tree girl. I can understand if those random girls are to distract the pain, even though I dislike the behavior. You're broken up right now. Newsflash. You don't have a say in what he's doing or who he's with or if he cheated. You guys are done right now. There's a very good possibility that you could get back together when the smoke clears and the borders open in a year or 2 years. But this idea of you playing detective and then making accusations all around the place, this isn't going to serve you. If you have a lot of trouble with this, I suggest you do a live coaching session. Do you think a guy that jumps into a rebound quickly means he is hurt more than the one who can be fine alone after a breakup? Well, in your particular situation, he told you that he misses having love and affection. So that's what he was looking for. The fact that you were in a long-distance relationship where you haven't seen each other in 6-7 months, it's different than rebounding from a relationship where you were seeing each other regularly. It's also a difference in environments and places. So where you're at in your life will dictate how quick you pivot out of a relationship. But in long-distance relationships, individuals that haven't seen their partner in a long time are more likely to move quickly. Do you think this is the first? Do you think the first one is a long-term material? That's a broad question. I would have no clue on that. That would be a shot in the dark for me. Most likely, if he's in his late 20s, nothing's long-term. I just have a few questions and I appreciate your insights. What's your thought when he says maybe after 1 year when your border reopens, we might reunite? It means he still has interest, he's still attracted to you, and he wants to revisit things if the stars line up. That the whole problem with the relationship, when he says he wants to reunite, he wants to see you in person. It's not that I can't be happy with someone else, but years from now, if he crossed my mind, I won't think, what if, and have regrets. Even if we reunite and it doesn't work in the end, at least I knew. It's not that I can't be happy with someone else, but years from now, if he crossed my mind, I won't think, what if, and have regrets. I don't really understand what you mean here. Is it a good idea to write him just to ask him if he's okay or better until the border opens? It's fine, but can you deal with the fact that he's single now? You can't ask him questions if he's seeing someone else. I don't think you're ready for that. I think you got some anxiety still about the situation. And the fact that you're in another country is actually a good thing. Embrace being single and let go of the fact that he might be seeing someone or he's not seeing someone, because you have the same opportunity. And he was very honest and upfront with his breakup text. So you need to accept that. How can we know how we are doing if there's no communication in between? It's been 4 months. I didn't hear from him. No news is usually good news for someone else. Maybe he thinks I'm mad at him after I saw his Facebook story. I don't think that's the case. I think he was very clear on the fact that he's looking for someone in person. Right now, you can't provide that. That's not your fault. But in the future, if things open up, which there's no certainty of that, maybe you can reunite. How can I move forward with only good memories and got nothing about him and hate him? How can I move forward with only good memories and got nothing to hate about him? I can't think of any other way to forget him if I don't hate him. I talked about this earlier in the live stream. And it's not uncommon for people to feel like this is a fast track out of getting over the breakup. It really isn't. And what I tell people a lot of times, if you have feelings about your ex and they surface, and the thing is, a lot of people get angry. That's natural. Address the feelings and neutralize them rather than have extreme cases. And the worst thing that can happen is when you go on social media and you create these open loops and these cliffhangers of stories you'll never know. So this is what drives people nuts. I saw a picture, I think means I don't know. And I don't know when you're broken up over a picture with another female is not good for you. And so the human brain always wants to end stories. This is why we watch series, right? So I hope that helps. If you want to book a live coaching session and go deeper, we can do that. Mr. Sammy, hope you're well. Big Mac, thank you. I'm going to politely ask my ex to move to a different country. No contact for 2 weeks, then go in for one more Skype, Cybers, then have the cheeseburger and 6-pack. Okay. Exhausted, love the stream, good night. LDR in these days and age is useless. Nobody. Hi, coach. Saw your video on alcoholics in a breakup with one now. What a mess. Nobody, if you got a question, I'm open to questions right now. I'm doing something I've never done before. Taking 5 days off to meet up with this really cool chick I met online. She's flying to see me next week and is so excited. Should I be worried? Just like I told you before, I think this is the one you asked me about before. Just make sure you meet at a neutral location that's not your home. I think that's better. Because if it's some kind of psycho or it doesn't work out, you don't want them to know where you live. Seriously. Wait, what? Never met this girl in person? You could do... How you been, Ron? I don't know who Ron is. Rita Rose Hubblesworth, one of my favorite, NY's finest. Did a little time in Paris. My heartbreak sent me a funny homemade birthday card unexpectedly. Come on, what's up with that? Breakups are a maze. They really are. And that's when you get to the point of indifference, that's the holy grail. But social media has made it so much harder. It really has. And now with COVID and the different restrictions, long-distance relationships always have an expiration date. That's the reality. I think we all know that. And sometimes people just haven't been in one before. They haven't been in one before. And if you haven't been in one before, you think, oh, I know all about relationships and we love each other. Someone gets left holding the bag because someone gets tired of the distance. Or someone gets accusational about cheating. Like I've said before, cavemen didn't have long-distance relationships. These are a new thing. Native Americans, I don't think, did these. These are a new thing. And they can work in special circumstances. But I'm going to add, where are you at as an individual and what environment do you live in? Because that's going to affect how quick someone stays or aborts. Any closing questions for anyone? I'm not sure I got enough juice for this other story. I might have to make it for tomorrow because the other story is quite long. 14 on deck, 4 likes, 15 on deck. I've never stopped loving somebody I've loved. How do others feel? I feel like now, at the place I'm at in my life, that would be true. My past girlfriends, I would say I love them. From a distance, though. From a distance. What do I mean by that? I mean that it's a different kind of love. It's not this statement of, oh, we're in love. Like I said, everyone's got their own definition of love and what that means to someone. Some people that love someone and what they're willing to do to that person or do for that person is different. But I do feel like when you're at a point in your life, dare I say spiritually, where you appreciate how much of a privilege it is to be in a relationship where you really, really love each other, where you really care about each other, really on a deep level. I think then that you can love that person from afar. But during a breakup, I think those feelings get conflicted. I was in an SDR, short distance relationship. What's an SDR? Short distance. She lives 2 blocks away, and we walked 5 minutes to see each other. That still makes it harder, so be happy there's distance. Mac deserves so much more viewers. Elena P., Miami's finest, thank you kindly. It's going to happen, hon. I think intimacy requires physicality. I would agree, Derek D. Seems obvious. I just want to drop in and say thank you. Rochelle Siemens, it's been a damn while. I remember you. You helped me years ago, and know when I see a big red flag, I walk away. Well, good for you. I remember you. Years ago. Every place I go in the neighborhood has a memory attached, including my lonely apartment. Move, LinderTube. That's my recommendation. When you speak to clients, do any guys admit to having anger issues that allow their hate to be a major issue with themselves? I suspect many are in denial of their ability to hate. That's a good question, Rob. In my experience, I feel like I don't get a lot of people with anger issues. I feel like with YouTube now and all the options, people look at your YouTube videos and gauge your personality and your approach. And I don't think people with anger issues would like to work with me. I think that there's other people that they would find more tailored to them, if that makes sense. So I don't find a lot of people with anger issues. I've had a few. But usually when the ones that they don't even address it as an anger issue, but they're usually at a point where they're ashamed of the anger issues. So they don't try to deny or hate. They're more less trying to manipulate the situation where they're blaming the other person, and then they're labeling the other person, narcissistic, anxious attachment, instead of really looking at who they are. Hit the like button now. Makes sense. Yet I find many people who have anger issues typically never think it's an issue. Well, what they do is, instead of making it an issue, they'll have some other narrative to it, right? Well, I don't really like that I'm that way. Really, we all need to learn that our core beliefs are guiding our subconscious, and people don't even know what they're doing. They're not premeditating their anger issues. They've learned them somewhere. And again, anger issues are related to not being happy with your job, having stress about money, outside things that that'll ensue on less patience. Coming up on an hour here. Controlling one's emotional self-center is a skill that most should master in their lives. It should be taught in school. That's what meditation does. I'm going to save this story for tomorrow. Yeah, that's for another day, but you're right, Rob. There should just be a whole school on that. I'm about to send you a coffee, highly caffeinated. Don't make me. Why, am I dragging? No sugar, no coffee. Even the most academic people can have dark sides of emotional type issues. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, folks, I'm going to call it a day. I'll be on deck tomorrow. I appreciate you all. If you have any questions, you can go to the Discord if you want to join that. But I'll be on the same time tomorrow. Curtains.